In the electric atmosphere of a packed arena, where the air hums with anticipation and the crowd's roar shakes the rafters, O'Shaquie Foster and Robson Conceica stepped into the ring for a boxing showdown that would leave an indelible mark on the sport. This wasn't just another fight. It was a collision of two worlds. Foster, the American powerhouse nicknamed Icewater for his chilling composure and knockout prowess, against Conceica, Brazil's Nino, an Olympic gold medalist, whose lightning-fast hands and unyielding spirit made him a formidable foe. What unfolded was a masterclass in skill, heart, and raw determination, a battle that had fans leaping from their seats and commentators struggling to keep up with the frenetic pace. This was boxing at its purest, a spectacle of human will under the blazing lights, and every second of it pulsed with drama. The night began with the kind of energy that only a high-stakes prize fight can generate. The arena, a cauldron of sound and light, buzzed as fans waved American and Brazilian flags, their chants blending into a chaotic symphony. The big screens flashed highlights of both fighters' journeys. Foster's rise through the ranks with a string of devastating knockouts, Conceica's storied amateur career culminating in Olympic glory. Foster entered first, his walkout a study in focus, his eyes fixed on the ring as if it were the only thing in the universe. At 6 feet tall, with a reach that seemed to stretch across the canvas, he carried the aura of a predator. His 21-2 record and 12 knockouts, a warning to anyone who dared stand across from him. The crowd erupted, chanting, "Yuza," as he shadowboxed under the spotlight, his movements sharp and deliberate. Then came Conceica, striding out with a mix of swagger and quiet intensity. Shorter but wiry, his compact frame belied the explosive speed that had carried him to a 2016 Olympic gold medal, Brazil's first in boxing. His record January 18 with 9 knockouts spoke to his ability to combine technical brilliance with fight-ending power. The Brazilian contingent in the crowd waved their green and yellow flags, their cheers a rhythmic pulse that matched Conceica's confident bounce. As the announcer's voice boomed through the arena, introducing the fighters with theatrical flair, the tension thickened. The referee called them to the center, their eyes locked in a silent duel before the first bell even rang. This was no ordinary night. This was a moment where legacies would be forged. The opening bell sounded, and the fight exploded into life. Foster, leveraging his height and reach, stalked forward with a jab that snapped like a whip, testing Conceica's defenses. The Brazilian, quick as a flicker of light, danced around the ring, his footwork a blur of angles and feints. He ducked under Foster's early punches, firing back with a crisp 1-2 combination that grazed the American's chin. The crowd roared, sensing the chess match unfolding. Foster's punches carried weight, each one landing with a thud that echoed through the arena, but Conceica's speed made him a ghost, slipping just out of reach. A slow-motion replay captured the precision, Foster's left jab slicing through the air, only for Conceica to weave under it and counter with a sharp hook that drew gasps from the stands. Round 2 saw the pace quicken, the fighters settling into their rhythms. Foster, reading Conceica's movement, began to cut off the ring, his long strides forcing the Brazilian toward the ropes. A stiff jab to Conceica's body landed with a dull smack, the kind of punch that could sap a fighter's energy over time. But Nino was no ordinary opponent. He absorbed the shot, his face a mask of determination, and fired back with a 3-punch. Flurry a left hook, a right hand, and an uppercut that whistled past Foster's ear. The American shook it off, his expression unreadable, but the message was clear. Conceica wasn't here to survive. He was here to win. The round ended with a furious exchange in the center of the ring, both men trading blows as the crowd surged. To its feet, the bell barely audible over the noise. By round 3, the fight's narrative began to take shape. Foster leaned on his power, targeting Conceica's body with punishing shots designed to slow the Brazilian's relentless movement. Each body punch landed with a thud, like a hammer striking a heavy bag, and the crowd winced in sympathy. But Conceica's resilience shone through. He gritted his teeth, his eyes burning with defiance, and countered with surgical precision, slipping punches and landing quick hooks to Foster's head. A replay showed a moment of brilliance. Conceição, ducking under a looping right hand and snapping Foster's head back with a counter left, the American's knees buckling for a split second before he recovered. The commentators were in awe, one calling it a game of razor-thin margins, another praising Conceica's Olympic pedigree shining through. The middle rounds brought the fight to a fever pitch. In round 5, Foster found his groove, landing a thunderous right hand that rocked Conceição against the ropes. The Brazilian's legs wobbled, and for a moment it seemed the fight might end there. The crowd surged, sensing blood, but Conceica's heart refused to break. He clinched, buying a moment to clear his head, then fired back with a desperate flurry that caught Foster off guard. The exchange was electric, a blur of gloves and sweat, with both fighters digging deep into their reserves. Foster's power was undeniable, his punches shaking Conceica's frame, but Nino's counters were like lightning strikes, fast and unpredictable. The arena was a cauldron of noise, fans screaming as the fighters traded blows with reckless abandon. Round 6 saw Conceição mount a comeback. Using his superior footwork, he began to dictate the pace, circling Foster and peppering him with combinations. A quick left hook caught Foster flush, drawing a collective gasp from the American fans. Foster, ever composed, reset and answered, with a vicious body shot that forced Conceição to backpedal. The back and forth was relentless, each man refusing to yield. A slow-motion replay captured the brutality and beauty of the moment, Foster's glove sinking into Conceica's midsection, the Brazilian's face contorting in pain, but his eyes never wavering. The commentators marveled at the heart on display, one noting that these two are fighting like their lives depend on it. As the fight moved into the later rounds, fatigue began to set in, but neither man slowed down. Round 8 was a war of attrition, with Foster leaning on his power to try to break Conceica's will. He landed a crushing overhand right that snapped Nino's head back, the sound reverberating through the arena. But Conceição, blood trickling from a cut above his eye, roared back with a combination that stunned Foster, a right hand landing clean on the American's jaw. The crowd was delirious, American and Brazilian fans united in their appreciation of the sheer guts on display. The referee hovered close, watching for signs of a stoppage, but both fighters were too proud, too stubborn to give in. Round 10 brought a shift. Foster, sensing the fight slipping away, unleashed a barrage of power shots, each one carrying the weight of his ambition. A left hook to Conceica's body drew a grimace, and a follow-up right hand rocked the Brazilians. Head back. But Nino, fueled by an almost superhuman resolve, answered with a flurry of his own, his gloves a blur as he landed a combination that forced Foster to cover up. The arena was a wall of sound, the crowd sensing that the fight's outcome hung in the balance. A replay showed the moment in crystal clarity, Conceica's uppercut slipping through Foster's guard, the American's eyes widening as the shot landed. The championship rounds were a testament to both fighters' spirits. In round 11, Foster dug deep, his punches slower but still heavy, each one a statement of his refusal to lose. Conceição, his face bruised and bloodied, moved with the grace of a dancer, slipping shots and countering with precision. A quick 1-2 from Nino caught Foster on the chin, and for a moment the American's legs stiffened. But Foster fired back, a body shot landing with a sickening thud that made the crowd wince. The bell rang, and both fighters raised their arms, exhausted but defiant, as the crowd gave them a standing ovation. The final round was nothing short of epic. Foster, knowing he needed a decisive moment, pressed forward with everything he had, his punches carrying the weight of a man fighting for his legacy. Conceição, battered but unbroken, countered with the heart of a champion, his combination still sharp despite the toll of 12 grueling rounds. The final minute saw them trade. Blows in the center of the ring, neither man backing down, their gloves a blur of leather and sweat. The crowd was on its feet, screaming as the bell rang to end the fight. Both fighters embraced, their mutual respect palpable as the arena erupted in applause. The decision was a nail-biter, the judges' scorecards reflecting the closeness of the fight. When the announcer declared Foster the winner by unanimous decision, the American fans exploded, while Conceicao's supporters clapped in appreciation of their warrior's effort. Foster raised his fists, his face a mix of exhaustion and triumph, while Conceição, head high, vowed to return stronger. The post-fight interviews captured their Grace Foster praising Conceicao's heart, Nino acknowledging Foster's power but promising a rematch. This fight was more than a contest. It was a celebration of everything boxing represents: courage, skill, and the refusal to quit. Fans left the arena buzzing, already debating who would win a second clash. The highlights would be replayed for years, a testament to two men who left everything in the ring, their legacies forever intertwined in a battle that defined a generation.